Stories meet real conversations. From business breakthroughs to personal pivots, we're digging into what's driving change and what it really takes to lead. Now, here's Jennifer Bardo, Kelly Chandler, and Michael Chandler.
Welcome to Elevate and Lead. I am Jennifer Bardo, joined by Kelly Chandler, and currently Mike is actually out of town, so just the girls in the office today with Eli is the only.
All right, lucky you.
Yeah, exactly. So we're really excited to have a powerhouse show today, and we'll be introducing these guests later. But I just wanted to give a quick recap in regards to what last week was about when we had Betsy Cohen. Wasn't it incredible just hearing her journey and hearing how she's just such a visionary and thought leader?
It was, I have to admit, you hear someone that has that kind of a background, her level of experience, her exposure, all the things she accomplished. I didn't know what to expect as far as like her personality. She could be her personal, she could be, have a little bit of a big head because she's done so well. And she was such a breath of fresh air. And I told her that first because you don't know what to expect, and she, even throughout her entire career, she was still struggling. And that's what she shared with us. She was struggling at the end of all of this success with what should I do next? I'm not finished. And it really took her a minute to sit back and figure out what her new interests were at that phase. She reached out to a company called Future Good because she liked what they were doing, and in working with them, they created a position just for her.
Right.
And she's loving it now. She enjoyed talking about all the wonderful things they're doing. And if you're looking for some inspiration on planning for the future, she's your lady. She's a wonderful inspiration person to talk to.
I love the fact that she said just dream as big as you can and just make it happen. Like have those astronomical goals. I thought that was really inspiring to hear that journey. And to just see, here's this Harvard grad who's accomplished almost everything. Started the Mosaic Project with the World Trade Center and worked at Nestle Arena. Just like her repertoire is just so incredible. And she still has that drive and that, that desire for growth. So just really cool.
She was cool, and we didn't get to this because we forgot to touch on it. She actually interviewed Sam Altman from OpenAI, and it's incredible that she was even able to get that interview. He is from St. Louis, yes, but as you can imagine, he can pick and choose who he speaks with, and he chose to sit down with her and have a discussion about the future of the national network. And that was pretty
So she's made a tremendous positive impact into who's helping integrate immigrants and tackle building wealth on those things. So yeah, it was an honor to have her on the show. I love the fact that she nominated 2 more guests to be on the show in the future.
Yeah, and tell me about the person that she nominated, this gentleman that you know.
Yeah, actually, Dave and I just had a conversation with him yesterday. So he's a Titan 100. He's actually Titan. I think he's a Titan alumni. He's an incredible leader in this community. He's really involved in technology and growth and just giving back. So he's a phenomenal leader as well. So hopefully we will agree and today on the show.
And his name is Sakar, am I saying that right? Okay, awesome. So Sakar, if you're listening, we will be reaching out to see if I can show us in the future. That's something that we've implemented with the guests that we include on our show. Who do you want to nominate? And as I was speaking to our guests today, it's kind of like a tag your it type of thing. So we want to expand the network and see who are the leaders we bring in, respect, and want to have those experiences. Very good. Well, Mike is not here today. He is actually in the city of Cleveland, which I've never been to, but he does some work on the side as a growth transformation leader. And in his absence, I thought it'd be fun to just kind of highlight a little bit about his background and why he felt this particular platform was something he wanted to get involved with, not only his professionals, but his couple, and then with Jennifer. So Mike and I have been married for 25 years, almost. So we've been together for a long time. We've worked together professionally and, obviously as a couple. So I've seen the ins and outs, the good stuff, the bad stuff, and all the for those of you from St. Louis, we actually met while I was at WashU. He was at Fonfon, really literally next door to each other at the time. And when we were at that stage in our life, we went clubbing back in the 90s. We met at Belden on Washington Avenue, which is no longer in existence. But if you're around then, it's a big deal. It's a lot of fun. Got engaged at the Lunt Mansion, and we got married. Eli's looking at me like, oh, ghost.
I love me and my mom love the Love Mansion. So you said the Love Mansion, I got
You're
so
like,
excited.
whoa, yeah, no, yeah. I don't know if that's a bad thing or a good thing,
That's
but
a good,
that was our
that's
first date and where we got after me.
Oh,
So-
they're the best toast ravioli.
yeah, okay, hey, there's a plug right there. Anyway, and then we got married at the Old Cathedral. So we're very St. Louis. He was actually born in New York, but moved back here when he was 7 years old. So we have a very St. Louis background, and we have our two boys. But what's so cool about Mike is that he started out in sports, like medicine, and he was a registered dietitian. He wanted to get involved in something that was more into what he was about at that day, to the body and stuff. So he pursued that passion at a young age at Bonbon and started personal training people in like Ladue, some of the nicer areas, and it ended up being that he was like their shrink. It was more of the, they shared a lot, like the pressures of trying to be fit and professional, and I feel like that part of his career really launched him into being human and human-centered design. He got into user design, how to really think from the customer perspective, and as his career progressed with multiple ebbs and flows, he ended up becoming a vice president of customer experience over the course of many years. So it was just neat to see him transition from someone who started out in one passion and then he diversed into another. So it's been exciting, and I think, as we discussed before, Jennifer, there's been a lot of ups and a lot of downs, and sometimes those downs bring you to this new place. For example, on a radio show, it's been very interesting. So one thing that he's been wanting to share with everyone, kind of like what you've done with your own cast, is he has a audio journal called Transform, which talks a lot about his personal good, bad, in between, along with his roles in the professional world and what he's been through. He's worked with so many big brands, things he's seen, and how they become successful. So if anyone would be interested, you're welcome to go check out Transform on the podcast networks, and then he also has his own website at michaeldavidchandler.com, which we were shocked that was actually available, because it's not a common name, but you never know if your name's going to be taken. So Mike's someone that I respect, obviously personally, but professionally, because I've seen him grow over the years, and it's wonderful. So little shout out to Mike, who's not here today. So hope you're having successful meetings. So Jennifer, having worked with Mike just for a short time, what would you say if Mike worked with you?
I would say he's enlightened me, and I say that because he is able to talk about those hard things. He is able to step into the vulnerable, and he is able to see things from different perspectives. I like this those experiences. So I've met a lot of people in my life in this short time I've been on this earth, right? But in regards to men, I would definitely call him enlightened, just because he seems as though he's able to talk about those vulnerabilities, which most men, they kind of put up their guard. They don't want to be vulnerable because it's an uncomfortable space. But I don't think there's anything that makes you comfortable if you can always step into that unknown and own who he is and be able to be vulnerable and open. That's kind of how I'm seeing it. So I appreciate that. I'm not sure.
We're going to continue with something that Mike does called Ask and Elevate. And this is where listeners can call in or email us with questions. And this particular listener, Renee from Wildwood, we're going to go back to that episode with Brad where he has worked with corporations.
He owns seven companies.
Has 7 companies.
Yeah,
It
it's
doesn't
gonna
matter at this point. Just add another one.
It's a huge agency.
Huge company, number of companies. And her question is, Brad talked about shifting his legacy from a blue collar background to becoming an entrepreneur. I'm doing the same, but I'm possibly doing it hard. I can push past that internal not out or not cut out with next level. Jennifer, what do you think?
I actually always use this principle because I always struggle with the enoughness. So it's like, are those voices in your head, are they valid? Ask yourself, because someone said that to you, do you really think that this imposter syndrome is real, or are you creating those stories? Because that is self-limiting belief. So I really think it really comes down to being in tune about what you're capable of and like what are your unique gifts and talents. And like that's something that I've had to work on for a long time. You're like, okay, am I telling myself this, or is this actually reality? And if it is reality, then that means that there's an opportunity for growth. That means that's an area that you can focus on and then understand how to level up. So, but imposter syndrome is very much real, and I think there's that fine balance of it allows you to be human and almost also gives you perspective because, like, what do I need to grow in? And you're just, being cruel. Those inner critics really just trying to get at me, to knock me down, or do I just need to have that much more courage to keep going? Because this is something that I believe in, and it's my why.
That we are our worst critics. There's no doubt about that. I'm not sure that society that teaches us that, or it's just some part of being human. I don't know, but it's very common, and I feel like that's over time it gets a little more comfortable. But Betsy's an example. Maybe at that age she was like, or at the stage, what is my value? That type of stuff. So it's a good question, and I think specifically the blue collar background. So what do you think about that?
I think there's certain things that rock you. Like, I remember, that was my world. That's what I grew up in. And I think some people perceive blue collar as not enough, right? Well, that's the exact opposite. And you see these people that dedicate their lives and their time and their bodies, and the temperatures and all the conditions, and the hands and the arthritis and all this stuff. And it's like, that's nothing to be ashamed of. Like, own who you are and own the fact that it's really cool that you came from that background, because now you have a really incredible work ethic. So I really liked Brett Burns' interview when he was sharing all that stuff about how he's going to really transform his legacy, not only for himself, but for the generations. And I think he's deeply rooted in who he is and what his why is. So I think if there's anything that you're ashamed of, or any type of insecurities, that's the exact area that you have to focus on. So then you can talk to that and just own who you are, because it's that path that really helps shape who you are. I remember my dad would come and pick me up from school, and his boots would be flapping. They'd be talking, right?
Right.
He didn't care. He was the owner of the company. But people, when you take him for face value, they wouldn't think that he had very much of a successful business, but it's actually the exact opposite. So I think it's the perspectives that you're gaining on your journey. You just have to own that journey, because it shapes who you are.
It does. And as we spoke about prior to this episode, I'm dealing with a son who's 14 years old who wants to be a farmer, which you just don't hear that. So we're kind of approaching things from the opposite perspective, where we've grown up and been in professional backgrounds for generations. And now I'm having to reach out to others that have this different lifestyle, this different motivation, and how do I get him involved in these, because I know he loves it, and I'm not going to try to take that away from him. So and he loves that, the boots, the jeans, and he would wear that to school.
Carhartt.
No, he would wear that to school because, like, they're going to make money. I think he's getting out of that phase a little bit, because it's becoming more than it is. But really, there's that stigma.
There is a stigma,
Which is ridiculous, because that's the fact.
Yes.
So it's so interesting to see how things can change. And people are getting more respect for the trades, for those positions. And we see them make a lot of money.
They make a fortune.
Yeah.
But everybody underestimates them. And I think growing up in that space, like, there was some shame. Like, oh my gosh, my parents never went to college, right? Yeah. And I'm a first generation college student. I'm not like the others, because everybody else has gone to college, and my family's been owned the trades for like 92 years,
Yes.
And there was shame. But then I quickly realized, like, they work hard, and they taught me a lot of lessons I wouldn't have learned otherwise. So, yeah. I love that you're supporting your son. That's right.
Just one thing I know that's important. He has no other. He loves it. That's great. So we digress. Anyway, if anyone has a question for us about any topic, whether we've aired it before or it's a new topic for you, just something of interest for our team here, you can email us at elevateandgmail.com or reach out to us on LinkedIn at elevateandgmail.com. So to wrap that up, we're going to pass it back to Jennifer, who's going to introduce our lovely guest today.
I'm so excited they're here. I did have to remind one of mine to make sure she arrived on time. I don't know if that gives you a sneak preview, but I am excited to have in the studio Marianne Biangardi and Renee, and I would like for you to pronounce your last name, so do not butcher that. Thank you. Vuylsteke. And they are both with UHY, and I've known Marianne for quite a while. We've been doing so many networking events together, all kinds of things. She was in my very first book. She's always been in my corner. And Renee is actually a new friend, so I'm really excited to have you on here. So before we kick things off, if you guys would like to give you a short overview in regards to your bio, great. Marianne, you want to go?
Sure. Thank you, Jen, and thank you for the reminder about the time. That's really helpful.
It cracks me up.
I'm always like 5 minutes late. But I stayed late to make up for it.
Yeah, she was on time, actually.
I was. So yeah, thank you, Jen, and I have been friends forever. And Renee and I met at UHY. So I am a
development manager at UHY, and Renee is the cast principal. And I loved working with her, and we just became friends right away. And I figured out no matter what department, a lead or someone in or have a question, Renee would be like the first one to email back for that just to her on everything. She's still on top of everything, and she can kind of balance me out. So we just get along really well together. So I'm so glad she could join us today.
And Marianne, you have a really cool connection with this radio station too. You just ran into
I
Cam.
do. It's Cam Jansen, a friend of ours. He actually was a guest at our Make a Wish Championship event. I met him through Reed Lowe. So Reed Lowe, former NHL Indians player, Cam Jansen, Jamal Mayers.
You a Cowboy?
Pat Maroon. They all converted for wishes about 2 years ago. So I'm very excited. Him and Tom and Layla Anderson. I love Layla Anderson. So I can share that later. But she had the same HLH as my daughter Claire. They have the same, so now they're both on the Make a Wish Award together. So it's very
Claire rocked it. She did amazing.
very cool. But I guess I started this on topic, and I don't know if you really want me to go over my background. Of course, let's get your ears. Sure. I'm like rambling. I can talk about Make a Wish forever.
Yeah. Or hockey, right?
Or hockey, right? I love that. My passion is loving Make a Wish, hockey, my kids. Oh, great, my dog. So let's see. So I grew up in St. Louis. Loved St. Louis, all things St. Louis. I was fortunate enough to go on a golf cart ride around Forest Park recently. Forest Park forever, and literally the most breathtaking park I've ever seen. And I just love every part of St. Louis. My brother was in town last week from Florida. We went to the City Museum and all the fun things with art. And it's just great. Like, our city is so amazing, and people who live here like to stay here. So I went to grew up in South City, went to my Ted Cruz, went to a 15th parish grade school, and then Kirk High School, because everyone likes to know. Right,
High school.
Where you went to high school, please, people.
All right, Corey, do not mess with
Yeah.
that.
and Bonbon for college, which sadly is closed. Jen was there too. So actually I have an art degree.
And Mike, yes, crazy.
Yeah. So I have an art degree. So I figured out my talent. I've been thinking about this lately. I think most kids kind of figure out their talent around 12, 13. And like yourself, let's be a farmer. You kind of figure out what you want to do. So I was good at art. I don't know, in college. I started drawing around at that age, and I was really good at it. So I went and got my art degree. But when I graduated, I was like, I have no idea what I'm going to do with this. So I started temping at an accounting firm, and it was a small firm in Freeport, and they allowed me to do marketing, like the flyers, the website, and go to events. They encouraged me to join trade associations where a lot of our clients were, and they were like, yeah, we're just going to offer you a job because you're great talking to people, and accountants usually are very introverted, and we don't.
You're going to talk to him.
We need someone out there talking to people and bringing in leads. So I just went out and joined all these organizations, and so that's where I got my background in construction, manufacturing, nonprofit, real estate. I just kind of with all these groups, and then I made like a billion friends. Then when I met Jen, it just kind of, doubled. So we both did network.
We just collaborate.
But yeah, so that's kind of my background and story and how I got into public accounting industry. I don't do any public accounting. If there's any actual tax questions, that's like Renee or someone else.
And
I
it's
just do
extremely
marketing.
impressive with your background and your journey and how you're, senior director.
Right, just incredible. That is true. And yes.
So talk about, imposter syndrome. You had that on your journey, and I remember talking through that with you and thinking, no, you have all of this.
I do. I just don't have the actual degree, so no marketing degree, but I'm self-taught, like grassroots. I just learned it. And people I've met say, you're just like the most authentic networker. We've never been anything like it, so then I kind of figured out my game,
Which is awesome. And we just had Sam Cook on, who's the CFO of Renee Vuylsteke. She does not have a degree in accounting. She has other degrees, but it's that kind of thing where you don't have to have it on paper. You have the gumption and the drive, the abilities that are just your own. So that's really neat to see that, and I thought that was awesome for her too.
Yeah.
Same thing. It's like, wow, you guys are incredible.
Yep. Yeah. So Renee, you want to talk about your past? I love Renee's story. She is such a great person.
Thank you, Marianne. Appreciate that.
started out with the phone, putting the messages together. He saw something in me that I didn't ever see. And he taught me. I mean, literally, I took a couple courses, but for the most part, everything I've learned is being taught. And here now I am a principal at a big firm, so that kind of, a lot of bumps throughout the years, but that's kind of where I came from, of no college education, but I have relationships with clients that are 32 years old, that I've been doing this stuff for 32 years, and so that's kind of one thing I love about the company and about the people that I work with, is that I'm passionate about that, and I mean, I love my job. I'm so passionate about it, accounting, people think that's weird, but it's just, I help people, help them solve problems, help them to a better place with businesses, and that's like very important.
Well, that's going to be a really cool journey. I mean, we were just talking about imposter syndrome. So, did you ever deal with that imposter syndrome, not having the degrees, or how did that?
Yeah, definitely, luckily, because I started out with this accounting firm, and John Beckner was his name, I got to shout out to him. He's my mentor, and that was the other thing too, right? Women in a man-driven world, and in business, and then to be, at the end of the day, he was told me, how to run his business. But yeah, I mean, there was some of that, I didn't have my degree, so, I have to, how far can I grow? And, I did end up going to EA, which is the enrollment agent through the IRS. So I'm still certified in Vermont, but I do only have that accounting knowledge. It's awesome.
Yeah, exponential learning is, those incredible people. And I love your journey in regards to you were able to evolve that supportive community and having that direct mentorship. Because I think you have a similar story there too with your journey. So I just really think, obviously the finance is very man-driven, but the fact that you guys both were supported with really essential mentors that have pushed you through the journey, and now you're a principal and you're striving to become a partner. That's just really exciting.
We are going to stop for a short break. We will have more insight, more impact, and more from you each live. When we return from the break, you can listen to Elevate and Lead on the New Information Station. Stay tuned.
Hot Take Central 2.0.
Now it's been horse man. No,
It's really getting out of hand. It's going way out of control.
With Cam Jansen and Jimmy the Cat Hayes.
Night.
Weekday mornings from 8 to 10.
Hell yeah.
Only on the Lou Information Station. Streaming 24/7 at louinfo.com. Hot Take Central 2.0.
This whole situation is getting out of control.
The future of driving is here, and it's electric. Introducing the all-new Audi Q6 e-tron, where luxury meets cutting-edge performance. And now at Audi Kirkwood, drive one home with 2.99% financing for 72 months. Efficiency, power, and style, all in one extraordinary SUV. Visit Audi Kirkwood on Manchester Road or online at audikirkwood.com.
Lunchtime just got a whole lot better at Hot Shots Sports Bar and Grill. From mouth-watering wraps to loaded quesadillas to bold, flavor-packed sandwiches, Hot Shots has something fresh every single day, along with your favorite wings, burgers, and pizza that you know and love. And don't sleep on those Hot Shots tacos. Plus, if you gotta be in and out quick for lunch, Hot Shots has you covered every day starting at 11 a.m. Find your nearest Hot Shots Sports Bar and Grill now at hotshotsnet.com. That's hotshotsnet.com.
louinfo.com news headlines. Brought to you by Brown and Crouppen. GetBC.com.
With your louinfo.com news updates, I'm Jared Sorello. Our top story today, the St. Louis area bracing for another heat wave. A new heat dome will begin to build from the Gulf Coast to the plains today before spilling to the Midwest on Wednesday. St. Louis Public Schools will reportedly consider a plan to close more than half of its campuses to address declining attendance. According to the Post-Dispatch, a proposal to close 37 of the district's 68 schools will be presented to the school board at tonight's meeting. Family members are demanding answers after the death of a man at the St. Louis City Justice Center last weekend. In a press conference in front of the jail yesterday, relatives of 31-year-old Samuel Hayes Jr. and their attorneys called for the surveillance footage of the moments leading up to the man's death to be released. For the Lou Information Station, streaming 24/7 at louinfo.com, I'm Jared Sorello.
Now, louinfo.com weather, presented by STL Sports Central. St. Louis sports, anytime, anywhere.
Here's your louinfo.com weather update. You'll want to stay in the air conditioning or shade today and try to limit your outdoor activities in the sun. We'll be in the mid-90s on the afternoon high. Factoring in the humidity, it'll feel like about 105. We will have sunshine, but we do have a slim chance of a shower. Overnight, some clouds, upper 70s. We're in the upper 90s on Wednesday. Very humid and mostly sunny. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton for the Lou Information Station, streaming 24/7 at louinfo.com.
Hey everyone, Cam Jansen here to tell you about the experts at Fast Signs in Earth City. Fast Signs can handle any and all of your business visibility needs, from traditional signs and graphics to digital to core graphics and anything in between. Fast Signs in Earth City has you covered. The station uses them, the Blues use them, and you will love the work they do. Call 314-344-4400 for your custom signage needs today. That's Fast Signs in Earth City, 314-344-4400.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
At Brown and Crouppen, we get that after an accident, money's tight. That's why we offer so much for free. First call, free. First consultation, free. Stuck at home or in the hospital, we'll come to you for free. So call Brown and Crouppen, where we don't get paid unless you do. And your first consultation is free.
Broadcasting live from the J. Randolph Jr. Studios in Kirkwood.
I once got catfished by a girl in Kirkwood before catfishing was really even a thing.
This is the Lou Information Station, streaming 24/7 at louinfo.com, with live and on-demand content on YouTube. And catch all of our local shows on Apple, Spotify, and wherever you listen to podcasts. KLIS 590 AM, Wood River, St. Louis. Spotlighting the people and ideas reshaping how we work, lead, and live. Back to more of Elevate and Lead with Jennifer Bardot, Kelly Chandler, and Michael Chandler on the Lou Information Station, streaming 24/7 at louinfo.com.
Welcome back. I am Jennifer Bardot, joined with Kelly Chandler and our two guests from UHY, Renee and Marianne. And I just wanted to give a shout out to all those blue collar workers out there in these hot temperatures for these past days. Thank you for everything that you do to make our city great. And thank you to all of our first responders that are dealing with these hot temperatures.
Could not agree more. It's incredible. And another thing that's interesting about getting people out in the heat, can I just say 2 words, Savannah Bananas. Like that was everywhere. Everyone saw that all
yes,
weekend.
They did.
We're still seeing it. Supposedly they had like an incredible amount of TikToks out there focused on St. Louis because it was sold out for 2 nights, blazing heat.
Yeah.
You've never seen so much excitement. Like it was crazy. So
cool. I had a bunch of friends that went. I went to Avita, so I was at the Muni.
Oh, gotcha. It was neat to see that excitement for something that's, the wholesome family fun. I loved it. I thought that was great press for not only them, but for our city. And
absolutely.
Cool. So, as Jennifer stated, we are back live with our guests from UHY. We're going to continue the conversation, and we'd like to speak a little bit more with Mariana about what you are doing in terms of your journey. What have you done in your journey that has led you to where you are today? You've talked about us with us on the break about some of the things you've mastered as you've journeyed through your career by just experiential learning, getting out there and seeing how things are done and applying it to what you've done going forward.
Oh, sure. Thank you. So I'm just trying to think about how this all started actually, and what started my networking journey. I think just being at that small firm and going out and speaking on behalf of the accountants, joining all these associations, I started meeting new referral partners and friends in the network. So one of the first people I met was Jennifer. So Jennifer and I were both in the ASA together. the subcontractors, AGC, general contractors, and so she had worked for Enterprise Bank at the time, and I worked.
STL Makes.
Yes, STL Makes.
We were everywhere.
We were
together.
everywhere.
And Fonfon.
And Fonfon, we were on. We had a lot of things going on, a lot of crossover, and we had all these plans, and we'd host events together, and Topgolfs and happy hours. So wherever one was, the other was, and usually CPAs work really well with bankers because you would both know the finances of the company and if they were going to switch accounting firms or banks, and then you could help each other. But we never really operated. We were never hard sales. We never asked anybody that. We were out there to help. And she taught me that. So if you can help other people and you can refer other people and make business connections for them, the work comes back to you. So the more people in your network, the more people you know, and then you can connect them. Like, hey, these two people could do business together. I kind of watched how she did it and how her brain worked. And I kind of figured out I could do that too, because it's naturally what I was wanting to do, but I never knew that this was a thing. I just had never known anyone could be kind of, a professional, networker basically, and help people so much. So two people that have never met before that could actually do business together may never meet without us saying, hey, you two both have, the same interest, hobbies, your kids are the same age, and you both could actually do business together, and just introducing them. And so many great connections have happened because of that. And, we were on a podcast together during COVID. COVID shut everything down, and we were like, how can we do our networking events? But so we, went to, I think Ryan Brutch started this Earning Her from Spoke Marketing. He's like, hey, I want you girls on the show. And I was like, really? Like, the imposter syndrome, I guess, I never thought I could publicly speak or do any of these things. And then Jen's like, yeah, we can do it. So
I was like, yes,
she's like, yes,
we're going to do
it. So we did that. And then I kind of followed her journey. Like, she decided to do something, and I'm like, okay, if she can do it, I can do it.
Yeah,
so
she started presenting on Authentic Networking. Like, you actually served as a speaker.
Yeah. So then we served, and then she did her book. She had the grit books, and first I thought it was like a book club or something. She's like, no, we're writing the books, and we're all going to be authors. I'm like, this is the coolest thing. So I just feel like just kind of networking with her opened a lot of doors. And then I started getting speaking engagements on the power of networking, and then everyone was kind of like, hey, we want you to speak here. So it just kind of grew, and I went into, I'm trying to think of what else happened. Just over the years, this whole networking thing exploded, and no one teaches you how to network. There's really no books on it. So one of Joseph Luckett wrote this book, 0 to 100, on, how to network he has got this whole plan, and that's the only book I've ever seen on how to actually network. So I try to just speak on networking and show the younger people and mentor them to kind of cut down that learning curve of how to actually do it.
Sure. So much of networking is, I feel, natural. If it's natural and not like a specific process, it's going to flow. It's going to lead somewhere that it's supposed to.
Yep.
And I feel like you've studied a lot of this just from observation, not from like you said, a book or something. So you've seen what's been successful and what comes back to you in the form of business or additional connections, and so you've kind of honed your own craft that way.
And
awesome.
then after that, we just hosted this Champions for Wishes event, which I'm so excited about. And it raised $100,000 for Make-A-Wish, just because of the power of the connections. All the people I know all came together, bought tables, and we were able to pull that off.
That's a lot of money. I have to say,
huge.
You hear about a lot of fundraisers, and that to me sounds like a lot of money for us.
It was only the second year too,
wow.
But we did have the Blues alumni showing up.
Well, that makes a big difference, and they're active and they're wonderful people. So it's wonderful that they put their names and energy behind that. And I saw your pictures on LinkedIn. Thought it was so cool to see all the Blues players at that event, and happy to be there.
Yeah. And Reed Lowe, I have to give him a shout out too. If anyone needs an auctioneer, man, that guy, I bet we only would have made $40,000 without him. He really knows how to get the money out of people.
Really? Does he do the?
I might not need to come next time.
Wait, what do you think?
Does he do it like the auctioneers? You hear
like
he has.
He
that.
is a third generation auctioneer.
No
like
kidding.
that is his actual background. Besides hockey,
cool.
his dad, his grandpa, everybody he knows
Had
how to
no
do
idea.
the talking.
We'll have to listen in on that. That is interesting.
Yeah, you should have him as a guest on the show.
Yeah,
and then you can hear him. He'd probably do a little auction.
Maybe we could do the show in that speed.
Awesome. All right, you got a nomination to make, Marianne.
We'll talk about the nominations.
Well, Renee, I had a question I wanted to ask you too. So we had kind of touched on that mentorship, but what is the core of who you are, and What is the hope that mentees walk away with from you and how you serve as a mentor?
I think that I want them to walk away with confidence in themselves, and being able to trust their instincts. One thing that I'm really proud of is my relationships with both clients and my team, and that really brings the trusted advisor, for clients that they can relate to me. I talk to them, on a level that it's not just all business, right? I know about their families. They know about my families. We have, there was an example at one of the CEO of UHY used as an example at one of the meetings was, they had walked into a meeting. He shook the client's hands. They were getting ready to sell the business, shook their hand. And I walk in the room, they get up, they hug me. How are you doing? Everything's, and that's kind of like, that's what I'm so proud of is that, I've made those connections, I've made those relationships, and I tried to pass that on, right? Someone taught me and helped me through my journey. So, I want to make sure that those around me, that I can share some of that, and, that I can encourage them to lead with empathy, have compassion for others, right? Because sometimes people are having a bad day and you don't know what's going on in their life. So just have a little bit of compassion and, and then, learning never stops. Mm-hmm. We're constantly learning, we'll never know everything. And so that's another thing too with, the mentoring is, giving them tools to help solve those problems, and help, but also like having that ability to be able to take criticism, constructive criticism, and be able to use that and, be able to be okay that, I have to learn. Mm-hmm. And there's always going to be a learning and take those as learning opportunities to be able to advance and grow.
I love that mindset of empathy, and I can see the synergies between your friendship here from UHY. You guys, there's so many similarities, and you made me think of last week. I was hosting a networking event with Grit virtually, and we were talking about mentors and mentees and how there's a benefit from both perspectives. One of my members, Susan, was saying she had a mentor over the summer, and her mentee was teaching her so much, even though she served as a mentor. So I definitely think there's always growth opportunity, no matter how far you are in your journey. And Betsy Cohen obviously showed us that last week. So very interesting. It's a good perspective, and it shows you can do things differently, not just the way, business is perceived. You have to be tough. No, they can come and give you hugs, and they know about your family, and it's real life. It's personal and professional all in one.
So I have a question for both of you, Marianne and Renee. Do you offer mentorship through the company? Do you ever include the younger generation? Are they ever able to come to the office? Do you offer anything like that for them to learn from people like yourselves?
We do. We have an emerging leaders group at UHY, so we do mentor young people at the office. And then they're free to ask any questions they want or schedule one-on-ones just to learn more. And I try to bring them to events. So if some of them are very introverted and they don't want to go out, I'm like, hey, this would be really easy. You could just sit and listen to this panel. I'll introduce you to a couple of people. Or if you're a little more extroverted, you want to go to these happy hours, just hang out. Now, I usually bring them with me, like introduce them like, hey, this is, Jacob, meet, Bill or whoever, and you guys go talk, and then I'll turn around and introduce Karen to somebody else. And, it just kind of goes like that. So they're more comfortable. And then I also try to do pairings with like service providers. So I'll have, like a financial institution that we work with, like a bank or an insurance company, take like 20 of their young people and pair them with like 20 of our young people, and kind of based on interest, have a lunch and try to organize them together to, have a future business relationship. If anybody else is interested, I'm willing to help anybody. I've even helped some young people get jobs or through my connections and neighbors, things like that. So.
And we also have a mentorship where it used to be just partners would be a mentor to everybody, all the other staff members, team members. But now they've brought principals into it. So this year I have two people that I get to actually mentor that are not on my team. Which is kind of neat because, we're a rather big company, and we have over, I think, close to 150 in our St. Louis office alone. I don't know every single person in my office. So this kind of gave us a chance to meet other people in our office. And, you know, the two that I have are, you know, newly out of college. So it's really cool to be able to share my experience and hear theirs, right? Just coming out of college and kind of how they came into accounting and what they're looking for. So, you know, that I like that we were able to get involved this year, because that, you know, I get out, like you said, I get out of it as much as I give in it. And, you know, it feels good.
Yeah, helping people feels good. Like
Yes.
it actually, makes you feel better.
I call it the life echo. It's like whatever you put out there is what you're going to receive, and you guys pay it forward constantly. I can hear it.
And it keeps me grounded.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, has there ever been a time where you have mentored someone, Renee, and it's really like stuck with you?
Yes. So I have a friend of mine that she used to work with me at the old accounting firm, and she left shortly before the merger. And she's younger, about 10 years younger than me, but I kind of took her under my wing and showed her, you know, kind of taught her again what I was taught. And you know, now we're still friends to this day. She works for another accounting firm, a competitor, you know, so we always joke because we're competing against each other. But, you know, now she's the director over at her firm. And so, you know, that makes me proud, you know, because a lot of the stuff that she learned, I taught her. And she'll still call me with questions, you know,
That's
hey,
awesome.
I can't figure this out, you know? So that's kind of one story I can remember that really
It's cool.
stays with me.
So it's like a playful camaraderie.
Yeah, yes, exactly.
And you never know what'll happen. One of you could end up at the other company. I mean,
Right.
things change, and in St. Louis, we're
Oh,
so
we've
small.
tried.
People move around, you know, and it's funny how things kind of come full
Yep.
circle after a while. So that would be interesting if you ended up working together again. Very cool.
Yeah. So is there anything else both of you would like to share that we haven't covered yet?
I actually wanted to talk about my daughter and her health journey really quick, because I'm so big on Make-A-Wish and Wings of Hope. So when she was 3 years old, she had this autoimmune disease, but nobody knew what it was. So she had high fevers for 10 days. They did not know in Children's Hospital. It was like a Dr. House episode. Nobody could figure it out. They had med students looking through textbooks, and it's a very rare disease called HLH. So it's the same thing that little Layla Anderson had on the Blues. So now, talking about things coming full circle, these two little girls were survivors. They're both friends. They're both on the junior board of Make-A-Wish. So like she's a wish child. Her, Layla, and this other little girl, Madison, all go and do wish reveals, and they did Walk for Wishes, and they've raised enough money with their junior board for a wish, which cost $10,000. And then they were speakers at our big Champions for Wishes. So I just think the full circle thing is really cool, and teaching my kids to give back. Like, it is so important. So just the kids know you got to volunteer. You need to help your community. It's like extremely important. And so many people helped us while she was sick. I can never repay these people. I mean, they came over and cleaned our house. The neighbors, they brought food every day. People I didn't even know sent us gift cards and money, you know, so
Trivia night.
I couldn't. Trivia night, my friend Maria had all these people. I'd never thank these people. They raised $30,000 because I couldn't work for 2 years. I was at the hospital with her. So just the full circle thing, and how proud I am of my kids for doing this. So
I just say, as your friend, like being able to sit back and witness your journey and your daughter's journey and even your son, but all of the growth, you're modeling that for them. And it's been beautiful because I see everybody stepping out of their comfort zone. Because I remember when she said, "Hey, Jen, I want to be a cheerleader. How did you do that?" You know, and then now she's a cheerleader. It was so
yes,
cool.
she asked Jen. I know Mom wasn't a cheerleader, so she has to ask Jen. What do I do? Yeah,
It's just been really cool.
It's cool.
And how old are all of these girls that are on the junior board now?
So they're all, actually, Claire's the youngest. So you're supposed to be like a junior or senior in high school, and she was a freshman when she started, but she's she just turned 15. Now she's going to be a sophomore, and then they go up to high school. So they all rotate, and then there's a leader, and then they graduate, and then there's a new junior board. So
what a gift to be a recipient and be able to share that experience with someone else. I mean, that's the perfect person to be able to do that.
It was
very
so cool.
heartwarming.
so cool at this Make-A-Wish event this year. You know, we had like Reedlow up there with his auction, the towel man waving his towels and doing all the crazy stuff, and then throwing towels in the audience. And then Claire's up there speaking. She has her journey about, you know, the pictures of her with her HLH and her puffy face and steroids and sick in the hospital. And then she revealed a wish to this new little boy, Bryce, who's only 5. He thought he was just going to meet hockey players. But she's like, and actually, Bryce, this evening's about you. She pointed to him. Oh my God, he's like me, like so animated. His little baby hands went up. He was the perfect kid, so charismatic. And they were like, you get to go on your cruise. And it was so cute. So yeah, adorable.
And that story is actually owning your grit, because you had the courage to share that story. So, and that's
cool.
just been really a cool ripple effect. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Love to hear that. What about you, Renee? You had some interesting tidbits before we went live here about your son.
Yeah, so I have 2 children. And my daughter is a math teacher here in St. Louis. She actually is going back to her high school and teaching math. So that's kind of exciting. And I'm proud of both my children. But my son is actually a pitching coach for the Baltimore Orioles. So he works out of Southern Florida right now. He was in the Dominican for 2 years. And now he's in Southern Florida teaching young kids. You know, so they both kind of, I feel like kind of went in they went different in accounting, but they kind of went in the same background as me as far as, you know, they giving back to those that are younger and trying to share their, you know, what they've learned and teaching others. So I'm proud of both of them.
Well, congratulations to both of your children. And being a parent with 3 kids, you have to equally represent all of them. I get that. I appreciate that.
Yeah, actually, we all have 3 kids.
Well, yeah, we all have 3. That's funny.
Yeah.
Incredible. Well, Marianne and Renee, thank you so much. I had never heard of UHY before today, or before we introduced you guys and invited you to come on the show. So I'm learning a lot, and I want to know how you make accounting fun. So it sounds like I kind of have the answer, you know, networking, being relatable, solving problems, and being, you know, a little more human-centered. And you know, every year tax season rolls around, I'm like, ugh. So if you know,
I was just saying that. That's what my doing.
Yeah,
I was doing that yesterday.
You just finished yours up. Clearly,
2024 as of yesterday.
So you know, every year I'm always looking for tips. You know, you see the calendars, the months roll by, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna have to face this at some point. I don't know why that is. So maybe we'll lean on you two for some tips and tricks going forward.
Absolutely.
Let's see. Oh, the one thing we wanted to point out also with you two, we implemented a new, you know, kind of nominate the next round of people, or, you know, in the future. And we wanted to hear from one of you or both of you about some individuals you would like to invite on the show, or maybe have us reach out to learn more about their businesses.
Well, we definitely want Reedlow on here now so we can do his auctioneer pitch.
Noted. I've got that down.
And I was thinking maybe Lindsay from Make-A-Wish, you could learn more about her and her story. And then I wanted Mike Bisley and Nikki Bisley and Amy Huff. They're with Key Equipment. They sell sewer, or what is it called? Hydrovacs, street sweepers, anything you need to like do plumbing. It's specialty equipment. It's not like it's Favorite Cat or anything like that. It's specialty, and they sell to a lot of municipalities, but they've done really well. And they said whenever they have a good year, they're going to give back. They're so philanthropic. One of their kids, or their child, Brandon, he was on the Pittsburgh Penguins junior team. He's really gifted hockey player and probably going to be drafted. So he's still on the junior level, but they have an amazing company, and they have given back in so many ways. They've given like $10,000 to Songs for Soldiers and over $10,000 to our Make-A-Wish Champions for Wishes event. And they're just wonderful people and want to support the community. So I just think that their values would be amazing to share on the show.
Where are they located?
They're in Bridgeton.
Missouri.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Very
I can give you the contact.
Yeah. Well,
Wonderful. Thank you for all the nominations.
Yeah, I'll send about 12 more.
Yeah, I know you will too.
I'll look out your whole show.
I believe that.
Very cool.
That's how you roll.
Yeah.
I just learned from you.
Hey, you know, you got to learn from the best.
Well,
just pay attention
thank
and
you.
implement those new skills. So,
Renee,
And I don't know all things. I got so much to learn. You guys teach me all the things all the time.
I thought maybe Renee had a client or somebody you want to nominate.
Yeah, I was going to say Craig Deaton.
Oh, yeah.
He's been a new client. He just opened up a HVAC business.
Dave sponsored my expo.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a member of Grit.
Yeah,
his
so
wife.
It's a funny
Yeah.
story
Wonderful.
because he actually reached out to Marianne through Facebook because of the hockey connection, And I happened to be in the office. It was a holiday weekend coming up. And so she's like, Renee, get on this call with me. And we did. And we won the client. And
Cool.
so we've been helping him build up his business. He's wonderful. He's a great guy. He gives back to the community as well. And he's really rapidly growing. So
And a family man. I think he's actually helping
he
his
is a
son
family
grow
man.
his son's
Yes,
business.
Yes. Yeah. So
That's cool.
Fantastic. We love hearing about those individuals who are, as we say, they're elevating not only their own businesses, but other people in the community, other organizations, and they're leading. So that's the whole point of this show. And we appreciate that feedback, and we will certainly reach out and learn more about all those individuals and companies.
Yeah, I actually introduced Greg to Dave Green,
Perfect.
the studio
There
owner.
you go.
So hopefully we'll get him plugged into the studio.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you guys so much for joining us today. This was really fun, Kelly.
A lot
This
of
is
fun.
great. Thank you guys. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your heart. Thank you for being honest. And thank you for giving back and having that mindset of growth and, hey, what can I do for everybody in our community?
Absolutely. We appreciate your time and insight. And we will be back next week. We will feature Dr. Ginger Nickel and Dr. Rebecca Lester from WashU's CHIRP. Let me explain that. Center for Holistic Interdisciplinary Research in Psychedelics. We're going to be talking about shrooms next week. So it's an interesting conversation, one that you will learn a lot about and how it's being used for mental health and those types of things. So thank you for listening to Elevate and Lead on the Lou Information Station. We will be back next week.
You've been strong for everyone else, but let me ask you, who is strong for you? I am Jennifer Bardot, radio personality, author, and publisher, and the founder of Grit Association, which stands for Growth, Resilience, Intention, and Tenacity. What is grit? Grit is a movement, a sisterhood, a space where ambitious women grow, lead, and thrive. This isn't just leadership. This is transformation. Grit is your circle of fire, where comfort zones get shattered, where stories become power, and the next level becomes your new normal. From our